Diesel should not be banned. Did you hear that? Diesel should not be banned. Some people in this generation think that diesel should be banned and not used. But in reality, without diesel engines, the world would come to a halt. Why do people believe that it should be banned? Well, people think that it should be banned because of the emissions and the let-off of carbon into the atmosphere. Now, electric vehicles let off zero emissions, but the people who live off-grid and need to generate their own power to charge lithium batteries inside these vehicles will struggle to generate electricity. An alternate way to generate electricity is to use generators, but most high voltage generators require fuel to generate electricity, so this defeats the purpose of having an electric vehicle. The World Health Organization says that around 3 million deaths yearly are linked to their outdoor air pollution exposure. Diesel engines contribute to the problem in two key ways: through the production of particulate matter and nitrogen oxides. Very fine soot can penetrate the lungs and contribute to the cardiovascular illness and death. Not trying to gaslight any of you, this isn't true. However, there are lots of things that we can do in this generation that aren't good for the environment. Yet they are still the best option right now. An example of an intelligent and thoughtful transition would be the plastic bags at the shops. They didn't go and ban all the plastic bags straight away. They found a solution, they tried it, and then they banned it. The plastic bags, once they knew they had possible substitutes. But this is a bigger problem on a bigger scale. Let me explain why fuel is still used and is necessary until they find a reasonable and better way. The first argument I've got about this is the distance that us Australians need to travel. Yeah, it's okay in the suburbs and cities, but there are just over 4 million rural states here in Australia. We're going to the shops for about half hour, an hour plus drive. Overseas is more densely populated, and electric vehicles would be beneficial. But here in Australia, it would be a struggle. The ACT is looking to have 90% of their cars electric by the year 2030, and to be totally green by the year 2035. This is reasonable for the ACT because the distance between places and the population is way higher than rural towns. How will they do this in ACT, you think? Simple. The government helps out by making 2 years of registration free when you buy electric vehicles, with no stamp duty and interest-free loan up to 15 grand. So the government still needs to give financial support, even in areas where electric vehicles are more appropriate. If EVs can't immediately be the solution in places where you'd think they would have an advantage, how are they going to replace diesel in rural areas where electric vehicles are poor replacements? Another point I have about how a diesel-powered engine has so much more torque than electric motors. What is torque? Torque is the measurement of force that causes an object to rotate on an axis. To explain this better, imagine opening a door. When we go to push open a door, we push the furthest away from the hinges. If we push close to the hinge, it would be really hard and require a lot more force to open. Now, when it comes to petrol and electric vehicles, they produce torque very differently. When fuel is burnt in a petrol engine, the combustion turns the components to produce torque. The car's transmission then transfer these powerful forces to the wheels. Diesel vehicles are similar to petrol, just a few minor changes. Because they have a higher compression ratio and because diesel has higher energy density than petrol, diesel generates way more torque. Electric vehicles don't produce torque through combustion. Instead, they generate force necessary to turn the wheels of the car with the help of electric currents. Torque is a major factor that is necessary for all work vehicles such as tractors, diggers, and trucks. A fully loaded semi-truck with a loaded trailer can haul up to 40 tons, whereas a Tesla truck can only tow up to 5 tonne. This is because of torque. Again, EVs don't look like they are anywhere near ready to replace the advantages of diesel that diesel provides. Now to look into some of the issues with electric vehicles and how they affect the environment. To power electric vehicles, you need batteries. Ion lithium batteries are used in most of the electric vehicles today. Lithium batteries are energy dense and contain high flammable material. There have been many car and house fires due to lithium batteries, whether they're defective or have had a manufacturing fault. The soil and water where these minerals are extracted have been contaminated due to the sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide, which are used when mining lithium, putting specific species at risk and poisoning ecosystems. According to the research published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society Journal, lithium mining is endangering 2 types of flamingos in Chile. The lithium mining in Africa is even worse, with mining putting young kids to work and working them until they can't work anymore. This is known as child labour. Do we know that changing diesel to electric vehicles is better for the environment until these mining related problems are resolved? First, it was a horse and carriage, then steam engines, followed by the car, and now they're moving to an eco car. Maybe we should keep it simple and go back to the horse and carriage. Look, electric cars might be the way to go eventually, but this doesn't mean that diesel needs to be banned. Diesel vehicles have their good and bad until electric can perform the same and better than diesel. Diesel should not be banned. Thanks for listening and big up diesel.